Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of the Hoover Junior Dirtsearcher unboxing and very first switch on series. I will be turning this cleaner on in this video, so you haven't got much longer to wait. And in the final video, I'll actually be demonstrating this both on carpets, maybe hard floors, and using the optional toolkit. I have had a bit more of a closer look at this since I last saw you, and I've taken the motor cover off and found a couple of things wrong. Even though this is brand new and unused from 1976, you can't expect it to be totally problem free. It is an old vacuum. It's not been used, but things perish with age. We all perish. We're all falling to bits, and old vacuum cleaners are no exception. So I'm going to turn this cleaner carefully over. We'll reveal its underbelly, and then we'll take a look at the motor. Here's the underside of the Dirtsearcher, and you can see it's pretty immaculate. The wheels completely unworn, unused, smooth running. I might have to put a dab of oil actually on the axle of the wheels. Lovely black agitator, no paint missing. I've given the base plate here a little bit of a polish, bit of metal polish, just to brighten it up a bit. It was looking a bit dull. And the belt, it looks a lot better than it did. It was covered in some sort of residue, so I've wiped that off, but I don't think the belt's going to last very long, but possibly longer than a modern Hoover Junior belt you can buy now. They snap for a living. I mean, you could be using the cleaner for 5 or 10 minutes and it'll snap. If you're after Hoover Junior belts, try and get new old stock, preferably genuine Hoover. But even the pattern parts, the old pattern parts, you know, from the 70s, 80s, I think they're better than the modern stuff, because they're completely useless, not fit for purpose. So, as you can, well, obviously, very nice long stiff brushes. And I've also polished up the beta bars a bit with a bit of Duraglit metal polish wadding, so a little bit better than it was. Now, there's something I need to do inside the motor, but I'm waiting for something to arrive from Amazon, so I can't do it today, but I can still switch on today. We'll just remove the motor cover, and I expected this would happen because the item I'm going to show you does perish, and this one has perished, but it can be repaired. Right, so off comes the motor cover, leaving behind the flash, well, part of the flash pad, and it's stuck a bit. This is the flash pad. Now, if I turn over the motor cover, let's just let the screws fall out with the washers. I'll put those to one side. The flash pad normally consists of some foam material with this stuck on the top. So it would be spongy, so it wouldn't be flat like that. There would be a sponge material. That obviously has perished. Sponge perishes after, you know, many years. So what I've done, I've ordered some Yoo-hoo glue. So I'm going to actually, and some sponge, a fairly thin sponge, a couple of sheets of it. So I'm going to cut it to size using that as a template. And then I'm just going to stick it all together, stick the sponge on the bottom, and then stick this top on there. Now, the flash pad, in previous models, apparently, well, you'll know if you see my videos, you can get a lot of fluff and stuff, and Christmas tree pine needles stuck inside these cleaners. They're not very well sealed. So what can happen if, back in the day when people used to make their own clothes and repair clothes and might have pins in the house, if you could suck up a pin or anything similar, something metal, it could get sucked into the terminals, causing a short circuit. So what the flash pad did was to seal this area with the foam to stop that happening. So, as I said, I've ordered some foam from Amazon and some glue to glue it. Could have used a glue gun, I suppose, but so that's going to have to be fixed, and then that will go over covering all the terminals like that. Oh yes, the suppressor, yes. Now, the ticking time bomb. Just here is the suppressor or the capacitor or TV choke, and these were fitted to appliances with electric motors to stop them interfering with the TV reception. Back in the day, if your mother came in vacuuming the living room while you were watching cartoons or Swap Shop or whatever you watched back in the 70s, it could interfere with the TV picture. So these were fitted to prevent that happening. They're a bit redundant nowadays. You can successfully remove suppressors, or you could replace them if you wanted to. Just bypass them and the machine will work. Now, this one being a brand new vacuum cleaner, really, well, it is brand new old stock, it looks fine. But what happens, these can blow, and they don't often blow, you know, with a dramatic bang. I was using a Hoover Conquest that I didn't do anything with. I just thought, you know, I thought I'd live dangerously and use it with the suppressor. And it did go, it blew. It just made a little, it wasn't really a bang, it's sort of a pop more than a bang, and it just switched off. And when I opened up the cleaner, I could see that one of the ends had sort of blackened and popped out. In that case, I did fit it with a new one. I had a replacement. But this, yeah, I'm leaving it for now. So we'll need to pop the cord grip back. So I'm going to switch on. I mean, it could well go pop, to be honest, when I first switch on. But I'm going to try it. I mean, years ago, I have experienced a Hoover Senior that did really go bang. You know, and there was a flash. But on the whole, they just go pop, or sometimes they don't even make any noise at all. They might just start smoking. You might start to smell an acrid stink. But yeah, then the cleaner will turn itself off, will just fail. Right, so that's all correctly screwed up. So I'll just pop the flash pad back over the terminals, and then the motor cover over that. It does need the foam to help provide a better seal, because that's not going to seal anything. But I'm not going to use it yet with dirt, so it should be fine. And we'll pop the two screws in, and they have a washer. Often if you get these second hand, you'll find that the little washers are missing. They're not really vital, I suppose, just don't over tighten. Actually, I've just realised where... Oh yes, of course I know, silly boy. There's this thing, where's the rating sticker? But it's behind the Dirt Finder lens. Right, so that's intact, ready to be switched on in a moment. So, here she is. I've fitted the plug. Now this is an age appropriate, and it's another new old stock item that I managed to find these on eBay. This, I'm pretty sure, we've had appliances back in the day with these Ashley plugs on. I mean, MK were probably better, but I've got a lot of 70s from this sort of period, and I've put Ashley plugs on all of them, and they're all new, as you can see, because they've still got the little card on showing you how to wire up the plug. The pins had gone a bit corroded in storage, so Brillo pad on those. So that is a nice age appropriate plug. I didn't want to put, and it says made in England on it, it would be sacrilegious to put a Chinese made plug on a vintage made in the UK, made in Britain vacuum cleaner. I couldn't do it. Bit of a purist. So I'll show you all the tools in the next video, how they fit, but to fit the cleaning tools we do have to remove this part here. I'm being extra careful with this. We just have to pivot it upwards and then the lens comes off. So there will be a bayonet, small bayonet bulb fitted in there. To access the bulb, we've got to remove the screws, haven't we? Not sure how many we have to remove for this. It's really awkward actually, I've just realised. You've got screws to remove. I mean, I don't suppose most people bothered replacing the bulb. Once the bulb had blown, that was it. Unless they took it in for a service, maybe the engineer popped a new bulb in when they were servicing the cleaner, but I bet most users didn't bother. The amount of these types of cleaners you see in old TV programmes being used without a working bulb. It was unusual to see the bulb working. So I am going to fit an LED bulb because they don't give out the heat, and also you can get them so that it'll look like, you know, it's a warm white. I've ordered a couple of new warm white ones. I've not gone for the bright white. It would have been a warm light. We'll see the warm light hopefully when I switch on. It does have a metal fan, still a metal fan on this generation of Junior. You can see the fan rotate as I move the agitator. And that's the belt fitted, but as I said, it's a little bit distorted. As I move it, you can see, look, I mean, it might, as it warms up, it might sort of go back into shape. But I think before I actually put dirt down, it will need a new belt to be fitted. Here's the rating sticker. So this is Hoover model U1034, 240 volts, 40 to 60 hertz, 275 watts. It's double insulated. It's approved by the British Electrotechnicals Approvals Board. The serial number U1034 610000759. So yes, 1976. Trademarks of Hoover Limited, made by Hoover Limited, Great Britain. This socket here provides power to the headlamp bulb once the front cover is inserted. And I've noticed, looking very carefully, you can see, you might not be able to see, but there is a sealant put round here. You can see here on the front cover the two prongs that connect up with the socket when we fit the cover back onto the machine. So you see a little metal lip there. You have to put that underneath the front and then ever so carefully push it back down into place. So now when I switch on the cleaner, hopefully it's going to run, and hopefully the headlamp will shine through the lens here. On the side here we have Hoover's height right control with 4 positions. I'm going to initially start this cleaner off in the highest position with my plush pile carpet, but possibly it'll work better on the lower position. So high is for your long pile carpets, and then the setting down, sort of your medium pile, and then normal to short pile, and then the front setting there has the head closest to the floor or carpet, so that's for your carpet tiles and very short pile. But the Junior, well, all the Hoover uprights at the time were designed to lift up the carpet on a cushion of air as the beta bars rotated, and they would tap out the grit and then the brushes would sweep away surface dirt. So you don't want it too close to the floor. You do want it raised up a bit to allow that the suction to give you that cushion of air underneath, to allow the air to flow through. The best way of cleaning, really. They knew what they were doing back in the day. So, but I will start it on the highest setting initially. Right, I can't put it off any longer. I'm going to have to turn this Hoover Dirtsearcher on. Okay, I'm gently turning down the top hook to release the cable. I've only got a 5 amp fuse handy. According to the instructions, you should put a 3 amp fuse in this plug, not a 13 amp that normally you get a plug. When you buy a plug back in the day, it would normally have a 13 amp fuse in it, and even modern plugs you buy today, they're normally fitted with a 13 amp. So it's got a 5 amp, which will do, but as I said, the instructions do state 3 amp. Right, I'm going to move it. It might switch on, I don't know. Just don't blow up. I know it'll be fun to see it blow up, and I might get more views, but my heart won't take it. So, right, here goes. Is it going to turn on? it's not going to turn on. Right, okay. That's because we haven't pressed the switch. Right, okay. Oh, calm yourself, Roger. My heart is going. Right. What might happen, the belt might slip off because well, I'll just switch it on, Roger. Stop blabbering about. Go on, switch it on. Wow, right. Let's switch it off. The light works. The light works, folks. That was quiet. Now I think, yeah, it's going to need a new belt because I don't think I could hear the brushes rotate. Here goes. Let's turn it on for this second time. Well, it seems okay, but the suction was pulling the carpet up to the nozzle, and it was definitely stalling the brushes. No, it's where's that belt? I did find a belt upstairs. It's not one of those new old stock. It's probably quite a new belt. Oh, there it is. I'll just go and fetch a belt and fit it. I think the belt is a bit too worn and distorted. I've switched the cleaner off at the wall socket. I'm going to put this belt in. Yeah, it looks like a fairly modern one. If you remember, I unboxed a cream and brown Hoover Dirtsearcher that came with tons and tons of bags and belts, and a lot of them are genuine. I think most of them were. They're somewhere in my stocks, probably in my storage unit, but I did find this one recently. So I think this is like a new old stock non-genuine Hoover belt. So we need to release the belt from the spindle, pull up the belt guard and remove the agitator. If the belt's still intact, you can often use the belt to release it. There we go. Off comes the old belt. Yeah, look, it's very warped. Compare that to the new one. It's going to be hard to pull that into position, I think. So we need to put the new belt over the spindle. This will only go in one way. See a little bit of surface rust on that, even with a brand new cleaner. That's shaped, and on the other side it's flat, and there's a little recess in the cleaner head there. So we need to pop it in. Make sure it's lined up. That's it. Push the belt down and then we can close the belt guard. Then we need to turn the cleaner over and hook the belt over the motor spindle. There's a little diagram under the motor symbol to show us the correct way to fit the belt. If you put it round the wrong way, what can either happen is the belt will slip off or the agitator will rotate in the opposite direction. So I've got to make sure, and I've made that mistake in previous videos, that has been pointed out obviously by my eagle-eyed viewers. So let's try not make that mistake in this video. So we need to have, yeah, right, I'm going to have to turn it towards me, folks, a bit, because that's going to be quite tight to pull. Oh, heck. There we are. Right, let me just look at that. Yes, that looks correct. Right, yeah. I'm turning it by hand. I'm going to plug it back in and switch on, and we'll just check that everything is moving as it should. That seems better. It'll take a while for the rubber to warm up a bit, but hopefully it's actually going to work now. It's going to continue beating and sweeping when I push it on my living room carpet. think I need to lower the height setting just 1 notch. That was 2, that's 1. Right, here goes again. We'll give it another go. It might just need to warm up a bit, or I might need to fit. I'm going to have to go into my stores and find some genuine Hoover Junior belts. But at least the belt hasn't snapped, but it just, I think it's going to snap at any moment. It feels like it will. Let's give it another go. I'm still on the sort of medium setting. Oh dear, that was bound to happen. I was just setting up another shot to film and I left the cleaner running and the belt snapped. So I didn't catch that on video, I wasn't recording. All of a sudden it was making the growling noise and then snap, and then of course the motor ran at a higher speed. So the Hoover Junior has told me, the Dirtsearcher has told me, it's time to end this video. I have unplugged and it has completely snapped. And I think that was quite unusual back in the day for the belt to completely snap. I mean, it snapped because I restricted the movement of the agitator. You need to keep these cleaners moving, especially on a deeper pile carpet. Otherwise, if they stall, then that's happened. I know of many belts that stretch in time. The older belts would just stretch, so they wouldn't be working as efficiently. But these just have a clean snap, so this is one of the newer ones. Absolutely useless. We'll have a quick go actually. We'll just turn the cleaner on with just the motor running, without the belt attached. Nothing wrong with the sound of that motor. It might benefit from being run in for a while. The grease in the bearings would have probably dried out a bit, so just the action of the motor warming up and the movement might help the grease to soften a bit. But all in all, yes, a few niggly teething troubles, mainly due to the fact I haven't got myself a proper belt. But you know, it did start to work quite well on the carpet after the initial, you know, struggling. It did start to work. I think the belt just needed to sort of get a bit more supple, perhaps. But it certainly worked better with that belt when the belt worked. But yes, it still needs some dirt put down. But just to end this video, I mean, it's not going to have loads of dirt in the bag, but we might as well see. Very small area I've cleaned. See if it's found any deep down hidden grit. Now I have fitted a SIBO BS36, BS360 bag. And I said earlier that there were, in my previous video, that these were twin skinned bag. Looking at them, they're actually a triple skin. So you've got the outer paper that you can see, and there are 2 further layers of filtration. So these are what I would recommend for old juniors and seniors that use this type of fitting. because with the fleece ones you often have to get a cable tie. They won't actually go on with the rubber band to secure them. I mean, do what you like, really. I mean, whatever suits you. Right, let's push that off. Ooh. Well, no, it's not dramatic. I didn't think it would be. I've just vacuumed this with my Sebo D9 commercial professional cleaner. There's not a lot to see there, but there is dust. There's dust and fluff and probably a bit of grit. So as you can see with these Sebo bags, you've got the outer paper and then 2 other filter layers. So yeah, I think they're pretty good as long as you get the genuine Sebo bags. So that's what I would personally recommend. And all you have to do, because these obviously are made to fit a different cleaner, they have a collar on the top. You just snip as near as you can to the top cardboard collar, discard that, and then just use the open-ended bag like this. It's got a bit dirty. Of course, that's the only dirt this cleaner's seen so far. It will be seeing more dirt though in the next video. But for now, you'll have to be content with this. At least we've seen it running. It does sound nice. Just need to get a better belt, I think. I probably have some in the garage. There we are. Yeah, not too bad. Pop the bag back in. And the zip seems to have loosened up a bit as well since I first undid it. So I think things are loosening up with this cleaner. She has been lying dormant for nearly 50 years, so, you know, cut her some slack. She will work. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely thing. I mean, I've had plenty of juniors and dirt searchers. They weren't uncommon back in the day. A lot of people would recognise this sort of vacuum cleaner. But to have one that's never been used until, you know, yesterday is pretty amazing. And yes, I'm not saying how much it was. I'm quite embarrassed about how much it was. It was on a Buy It Now. I paid a pretty penny, but I will be selling a lot of modern vacuum cleaners that I've demonstrated. I've got some sharks to get rid of. There'll be some other cordless machines. I'm quite happy to sell 6, 7, 8 modern vacuum cleaners to pay for one vintage cleaner. It's certainly worth it in my book. It's my collection will soon, well, not soon. I want my collection to be more about quality rather than quantity. At the moment it's a mixture of both. I've got some very nice machines. If you can check back on my channel, you'll see the many videos, and I have been lucky enough to get a few new in the box vintage cleaners, and some also from a bit later on, the 90s and early 2000s. But I do have a couple more 70s brand new, almost new, near mint. I've got a Senior and a Constellation. Oh, and also a Hoover Celebrity. That was another new in the box machine. So it is, you know, as a collector, that's the thing that I try and find, but they are few and far between. So when this popped up on eBay last week, I thought about it, but I didn't think about it for long because I thought somebody else might snap that up. And yes, I bought it. Do I regret it? No, I don't. I don't regret it, and I don't regret turning it on and using it. And I won't regret the next video where I'm putting down some more visible dirt. And hopefully we'll see the beats as it sweeps, as it cleans action. We'll see that agitation that Hoover uprights were famous for, actually bouncing dirt out of the base of the pile so they can be swept and sucked away into the dust bag. So there you go. That's today's video over. The Hoover Dirtsearcher exclusive U1034. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or questions about this lovely vintage cleaner, please comment below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.